Hello, my name is Iman and I'm going to talk about Vite. I intend to create a very beginner-friendly tutorial today, and this is going to target all those who are still using the same old structure of creating websites with like index.html, main.css or style.css, and uh, main.js, and then live server. And this is going to be a very good starting point for you all to pass this stage and move forward with a more versatile and more robust way of creating your websites and your web applications. So what is Vite? The first question that you might ask. Vite is a build tool. A build tool gives you the possibility to organize your project in a way that you will have all your files and you are having a manifest that directly says that what type of dependencies does your project have. And then based on that, the build tool will create a file like the same old structure that is familiar for you, and you can deploy that on your web hosting services. So to get started, we can go to vitejs.dev and read a few of these interesting points that why you need to use Vite and what are the benefits. But before we will be able to use Vite, we are going to add some stuffs here in our terminal. Don't worry, it's nothing scary, but you will need something called Node.js. And you can try, open your terminal and type node-v. If you see that command is not defined or I cannot see the command, then you don't have Node installed. Chances are that you don't. So if you are users of any three major operating systems, such as Linux, Windows, or Mac, you are going to have a terminal. I am using Windows right now, but my terminal is a little bit different than yours. That's why I am using ZSH, and yours is probably either you can have PowerShell or you can have command prompt. Both of them are okay. There is nothing, this is like a quality of life thing that I have, that I'm using an WSL2 Ubuntu right now here inside my Windows machine, which I'm going to create an in-depth tutorial about this and walk you through. But for now, what you are going to do is, if you don't have Node installed, you are going to nodejs.org, and you can follow the instructions here. And based on your operating system, you are going to install the LTS version because it's the most stable. And at this stage, you are going to use the more stable version. When you click on this, you will receive a file. You will follow the instruction and install it. I'm not going to install it because I have Node.js. And after that, when you have Node.js installed, then you can come back to your terminal and type node-v. And we have Node right now. So after we have Node, we will receive automatically something called npm. And npm is a package manager. A package manager is where all those developers around the world who are creating a package, something like a plugin, extension, or something like this, a library, they are adding this into this repository called npm. You can search for them. Like, for example, if I search for motion or for animation, let's say I want to add animation into my website. So if I search for animation, I can receive information on different various packages that I have here. And that is called npm, or Node Package Manager. And then you can check if you have it. So you will type npm-v. And I have the latest version. So right now, if you check here, you type Vite, you can see that Vite also is a package. So we are going to use npm to communicate from our terminal to the main package repository that we have here. So let's go back to Vite. And after we have this, now we can start and create our first Vite project. So first of all, we can click on Get Started. And we have an overview of what is Vite and the browser support. And Vite is an extremely well-optimized build tool. And you can, of course, on your pace, read all the getting started and overview and like, you know, the different topics that they are here. But we are going down to scaffolding your first Vite project. Here, we can type our first command, npm command, inside the terminal. So let's say first I'm going to go to my projects folder, and then I'm going to tutorials. And here I can create a new folder for my project. So let's say mkdir to create a new folder with my terminal command, and I will name it new Vite project. Now I'm going to cd inside it, new Vite project. And now I can add this command inside my terminal when I'm on the folder. So I can type npm create Vite at latest. It means that go and grab the latest version of Vite and bring it here for me. But I'm going to also add dot space and a dot after that. And the reason that I'm going to add this dot is because I want my project, like all of these files, to be directly inside this folder. If you don't want it, you can ignore it, but I always want to everything that is coming go directly inside the folder that I've created. So right now I can hit enter, and voila, we are here starting the script, and it asks us what is going to be the package name. I'm gonna, I don't know, call it generalist. And then I can choose one of the templates that is coming by default. You can have vanilla.js, you can have Vue, and Vite was created by the guys who created Vue, and actually it was perfectly a match for Vue projects. But right now it's quite also popular with React, Preact, and many people who are using React nowadays, they are not using, you know, like create React script anymore, and they tend to use Vite. So we are choosing vanilla since we are going to create a basic project from scratch. And if you know how to use TypeScript, probably this is not going to be a good tutorial for you, but we are going to choose JavaScript, like vanilla JavaScript, which probably most of you are used to. So we hit enter, and right now, so if I check inside the folder, tree, for example, I can see that the tree structure of my current files is that I have quite like some different files, but the most important one is this package.json. So if I check what is inside this JSON file, I can see that it has a name. It has it's a private project. The version is 000 because we didn't do anything. There are a bunch of scripts that we are going to use soon, and there is our dev dependencies, which we are going to talk about. So at this stage, I can open the project with my favorite code editor. You can use anything that you like. You can type code dot, which opens your VS Code. So we are going to check VS Code. And as I told you, we have several files here. We have an index HTML, we have the main.js, and we have another file that I'm going to talk about it briefly in a moment. And we have our CSS file, style.css, and we have a public folder. At this stage, it's still not going to do anything. So let's open a terminal. My VS Code is a little bit different than yours, probably because I heavily customized it. But if you are clicking here and you go to terminal, you can open a new terminal. So here, if I type npm, let's first open the package JSON file. And as you can see, this is the package that we had. So we had, as our dependency, we have Vite. But Vite also has own dependencies. So if I type npm install, it's going to go through the project manifest, and it's going to check the dependencies, and then it will create a folder called node modules and install all the dependencies that Vite is going to use. Or if you are going to have more developer dependencies, then everything is going to be installed in that folder. So let's do it, npm install, and it's going to go through, and it installed 8 packages, and you can ignore basically every other information here for now. So let's go and open the node modules. Whoa, very scary, lots of things. What should I do with this? Nothing, absolutely nothing. You are not going to touch this folder at all. This is something that is going to be created and updated under the hood. The same with this package lock.json. These are all the dependencies that your other dependencies they are going to need. So you are not going to touch this package lock.json. So it's a lock, and imagine that you shouldn't touch it. Then you have this package.json, and everything that you are going to use is going to be here in this file. All the other libraries that you are going to use, they are coming here. Now, if you check here, we have scripts, and the scripts are the way that you can run the project. So if I go here on my terminal and I write npm run dev and hit enter, as you can see, now I have a server. It's just like your live server. So it's on localhost 5173. Hold Control and click on the localhost. This is my web application, the Vite. So Vite, it has a little bit opinion on how the web should look and how you should write, your code. So if you go to your index.html, it has a similar workflow as or a mindset of a framework. Like for example, React, Vue, they are all like this. You have inside your body, you have a div with the idea of root or app, and then everything is coming injected here through JavaScript. So if we go to our main.js, which is our JavaScript file, you can see that we have it's somehow it's similar to JSX. So it's like the HTML in JavaScript, but it's template literals. But let's go and first of all check what is this counter.js. So this is also another part of the mindset that Vite has, to act as a framework. So you can have different modules, like smaller modules that you can handle inside a separate file. So if you are going here to counter.js and let's delete this, because this counter.js, it's this component that is here. So it works because there is like the function that is defined here and tell this component how to work. So let's go and delete this. And as soon as we are removing this file, bam, we have an error. But this is another benefit of using Vite, because Vite has a perfect, almost perfect linter. And this is going to give us exactly where the error happened and why it's happening. So if we read here, it's a human way of communication that tells us what is going on with the program at this stage. So it says that you cannot resolve the import from, you cannot find the counter.js file, and the error is happening inside the main.js. So if we go to main.js, it even probably gives us, yes, it's line 4. The error is happening. So if we go to line 4, as you can see, we have this problem. We are trying to import setup counter from counter.js, but it doesn't exist. So we are going to delete it and save. And again, we have our program. So what I'm going to do at this stage, I'm going to delete everything. So I'm going to remove everything. And we have a blank canvas. So if I go to index.html again, I can remove this as well. And I actually need my script. So let's add an h1 tag here and say hello Vite. And we have it here. But if you notice, we have a CSS file as well here, which there are quite lots of things like the background color of the body, but we cannot see it. And the reason is that if I go back, it was imported inside the JavaScript. You can import it, of course, with the JavaScript file, or you can import it on the head of your HTML link. So CSS, and it's a style CSS. So right now we have our file, and we can also add a class of txt to this, and then go to our style and let's say txt, and we can add I don't know, background color of tomato. Yeah, padding of 2, half of rem. Yeah, and let's delete most of this because they are not necessary. Yeah, and now we have our title, let's say. And I don't know if text align center. Yeah, this is it. This is how we are creating our file. And there is one other file here that is very important. It's the git ignore. So if you click on it, you see a bunch of text. You don't need to touch this. And this basically says that whenever you upload this project to GitHub or GitLab, then ignore the node module. And this is very logical because it's quite a big file, and it can be extremely big. If you have lots of dependencies, then it's logical not to upload it. Instead, anybody who download your project or clone your project, then they have this package.json, and they can type npm install, and your dependencies will automatically be installed in their local hosting environment. So you may ask, okay, why should I do this? Why should I, go through all of this and create node modules and everything? There are so many reasons that probably later during your journey to become a web developer, you will you will learn about it. But for now, you can think about two things. First of all, this is much faster. Vite is using some technology called hot module replacement, that instead of refreshing all the page, it only targets the part that is changed and then update that part of the page. That's why it's much faster. And other than that is that you will have access to the npm or pnpm or yarn libraries. And let's say you want to create an animation. You have lots of different libraries with different opinions, informations on how you can use them, and which one is better, which one is more popular. And let's say that I'm going to install a library called motion.dev, created by Matthew Perry, the guy who is behind the Framer Motion, one of the most popular animation libraries right now. And let's say that you want to add this to your project. This is one use case. So you have a quick start, and you can type npm install motion. So for temporarily, I'm going to turn off the live server, and I'm typing npm install motion. We have motion as a dependency here, version 10.16. And right now, we have motion library, which with all these functionalities, with all these possibilities to add animations and different kind of things inside our project. So if we go to our main.js, I can type import animate from motion, and now if I type animate, and let's say what was the name of the function, the class that we gave? It was txt. Txt, it's the same name as we inside the h1 here. The class is txt, so we are giving it here txt. And what do we want to do with it? We want to go from top to bottom, so it will be y, and from 0 to 200. Let's check. So now if we go back here, nothing is going to happen because we have to run our server again, npm run dev. And now we have an animation. Wow. And now we can even change the duration. This is a very good library. So we can say, I want it to happen in 3 seconds. So 3 seconds of animation. And let's say you want it from X, you change it here. So for now, I think this will showcase the point. Let's say when you create your project, instead of using a live server, because of something called CORS, it's like a security protocol or something that doesn't let these kind of projects to use live server. So you are not gonna use live server after this. Instead, what you are going to do when you want to deploy your project, you are going to type npm. Let's go back to our package.json, and as you can see inside our scripts, we have build and preview. So we can type npm run build, and as soon as you are running this, you see there is information that these files are created for you, and they are inside the dist folder. And if you go to your dist folder, you can see that you have your JS file that is condensed and compressed. And the same thing with your CSS file. It's extremely well optimized. And you have your index.html file. You are not going to be able to use live server to see this. Instead, you have to type npm run preview. And this is your build site. So if you go here, you can check everything is happening as intended. And that's it. whenever you want to deploy on any kind of server, you are passing this dist folder, the thing that is built, and you are good to go with a very modern and perfect website, which is scalable, and which it's much more look professional, and you can be very proud that you went through the next step. So to recap, Vite is great. Use it, and use it now. Not for next project, for this project that you are currently working on. Just go ahead and use Vite. I hope this was giving you some knowledge about how Vite is working. Go and read the documentation, because this was only scratching the surface. In the future, probably I'm going to create some other short tutorials about how to create configurations, how to install other packages like Tailwind, and how to implement Vite in your project with some more advanced functionalities. So subscribe to the channel if you want to stay tuned, and I will be very happy to have you next time. Bye.